Hey, everybody. Welcome to tonight's webinar about our small parcel delivery and 2D barcode options. Some of you may recognize my co-host from our OpenLab series, Andrea, Kim.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
Hey, the gang is back together again. Yay! It's so awesome to be here with you guys, with Jeff and Andrea to co-host this webinar. And a big thank you to everyone tuning in.
It really is great to be here with everyone. It's going to be more fun than a night out at the Double Deuce.
You can tell I've been there. I got the t-shirt. So for those of you not in the know, that's a Roadhouse reference. So it's just something we do when we get together. So if you haven't seen the movie Roadhouse, best movie ever, that'll be the first thing you should put on your agenda after the webinar's over. So
Absolutely. I mean, we're not saying it's the greatest movie ever made. Wait, yes, we are. We are saying that. It is the greatest movie ever made.
All right, all kidding aside and Roadhouse references aside, let's jump into why we're doing this webinar in the first place. So we'll start with why we added updates to small parcel delivery and 2D barcodes. First, there were Amazon issues with box numbering, and second, it was on our list of suggestions requested by users. Also, we have a downloadable PDF document for you. We have put the link in the chat, so you can download it now or later and have a list of links that we refer to.
Okay,
all right. So sorry, I was switching screens.
Yep.
So it's live. I got to expect that, right?
Absolutely. It's been a
So
while.
this update adds the small parcel delivery or SPD purchasing to the list workflow within Stratify. And we're working on an option to add the non-partnered carrier as well as LTL or pallet shipments to the workflow as well. So currently it's just SPD with the partnered carrier with this iteration.
And as far as a timeline, we don't normally release timelines, but since this is a major update and Q4 is rapidly approaching, we wanted to keep everybody in the loop on the progress of that. So this is going to be in 3 phases. So phase 1 is the release of the 2D barcodes and shipment completion for SPD using a partnered carrier, as Jeff just mentioned. And as of this webinar, this phase has been completed. Phase 2 is the release of shipment completion for SPD using a non-partnered carrier. The ETA on phase 2 is mid Q3, so expect that around August or early September. And finally, phase 3 involves the release of shipment completion for LTL, less than truckload, using both partnered and non-partnered carriers. And the ETA of phase 3 is mid to late Q3, so anytime between early August and late September on that.
Thanks, Kim. So now let's talk about batch options. Now, in our testing, the best performance was if you stay within Stratify, our desktop application, through purchasing shipping instead of purchasing in Seller Central. Now, there are 3 options for box contents now. There's either no box contents, 2D box contents, or box content feeds, was what you're using now. So you can set your default to one of these options by going to Settings, List, and Box Content. Right there in the corner, List, and it's right there, using 2D barcode. So that's the default, if you want to set that as your default. Now, before we jump into more detail about this update, we should explain what 2D barcodes actually are. Now, 2D barcodes contain your box contents information, which are your product details, etc., but only provide expiration date information if you choose to finish the shipping process through Stratify. Now, 2D barcodes, especially for larger shipments, will get your items checked in available for sale quicker on Amazon. More information can be found in the article, Seller Central 2D article.
Yeah, right there on the screen. It's in the PDF
it's right on the
as well.
screen. It's also in the PDF. So make sure you download that PDF.
Okay.
That's where you're going to get all of our links for tonight. So for option 1 with the box contents off, we're going to give you a brief walkthrough of this process using the batch label box contents off. So let's see here. So after you create your proposed FBA shipment in the proposed FBA shipment screen, which is where Jeff's at right now, you're going to see the option to complete shipment in Stratify button after each created shipment. And this option allows you to purchase shipping labels in Stratify, but bypass any opportunities to provide box level content for the shipment. So note, please keep in mind that not providing box content information will result in a manual processing fee from Amazon. So please make sure you add your box contents to all of your shipments. Otherwise, you risk being given a fee by Amazon for not providing that information. So then to proceed, you click on the complete shipment and Stratify button, which Jeff did. And a window will appear with a warning stating that you will be charged a manual processing fee. You will need to click on the checkbox next to this message before you'll be able to move on to the estimated shipping fees. Now, the shipping method will automatically be set as SPD, partner carrier, since that's the only method currently supported. And just a note, when using this shipment method, the cost will be billed to your Amazon seller account as an inbound transportation charge. For information on the Amazon Partner Carrier Program and how shipping costs are estimated, you can see in your document, in your download, you'll be able to see that there. So next, we're going to enter the weight and dimension for your boxes. And it looks like Jeff entered in 10, 10, 10, 10, which is my favorite thing to do too.
Yours probably won't be that easy. So
yeah. But if your shipment has more than one box, you can click add a box to the amount that you have or that you need. And once you have multiple boxes, you can enter them for each box individually or at once by using the all boxes section at the top. So that's pretty cool. Once everything looks good, click next, estimate charges to proceed. Oh no, it was converted to
because
send to
I was
Amazon.
testing earlier and I'd already converted it. So you want to make sure it's a fresh one. So if you see this, what that means is, and that's the reason I did it, was so we could see this error because I encountered it earlier. It's like, okay, that makes sense. So if you happen to convert this, like on your shipping page in Seller Central, you're going to see this issue here.
Yeah, so you're going to want to make sure that you don't convert
I think
your
this one as well does the same thing. That's why it's best to stay within InventoryLab while you're doing this whole process so that you don't get errors like that. I believe this was going to do the same thing. So what I can do is let me just close this real quick. And then I'm going to restore it. And we're going to create new shipments. If you run into this, this is what you'd have to do. Hopefully you'll avoid Seller Central so you don't accidentally convert shipments that you shouldn't be. So let's see, content off. I can tell my internet is a little slow.
So yeah, don't convert the shipment to send to Amazon because the whole point of this process is to kind of keep you outside of Seller Central. So it's more concise and keeps it all in InventoryLab.
Okay, box contents off. Let's do this real quick. Okay, so I'll take this one. See, I can't, like Andrea mentioned, I can't use this button because I haven't acknowledged that this is going to cost me money in Amazon. So I need to acknowledge that. And then when I do that,
pop up.
And that's, yep.
Yeah, and then this is where you can either accept the charges or you can decline the charges. So yeah, this is, it takes you here.
And then, if I clicked accept, It should, yeah, it's going to ask you to confirm and also that you have 24 hours to void the shipping label charges. So I'm going to say no. I guess I could say yes and void them just to show.
Yeah, might as well. And then did you have something pop up?
I did not. No, that's for the 2D.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
We'll have the pop up in the. I don't think I had the. No. I have to do this one. Going to accept charges, confirm it. Just got to make sure I remember to void the charges.
Then your shipping labels, they downloaded, correct?
They should download.
Yeah.
Did they download? They did not. So what I can do, go to list and prep. You can tell that I purchased shipping also because it's green, highlighted green, ready for carrier. And so I need to reprint labels. I can void the shipping label here as well, or I can print the labels.
Oh, you have a pop-up blocker on. Look at that. So that's why it's not downloading.
Yep. So I have to approve. So the reason it wasn't is because of a pop-up blocker. And so once it, let's see, can you see those shipping labels?
No, we can't see them.
Okay, let me switch what I'm showing. Share. Unfortunately, it comes up in a different window. So,
of course, just when you're trying to.
Yeah, let me do this. Okay, whoops. That.
Little
It's
internal
live.
communication there.
It's live. What are you going to do?
We're live. So the reason why it didn't download automatically to Jeff's computer is because he had a pop-up blocker on. So when you're doing this, this workflow, make sure you have your pop-up blocker either turned off or allow it or turn it off just for InventoryLab. So that's how you get your shipping labels printed.
Hopefully you can see those. Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
So that's what it'll look like. It'll just pop up. And we do have in that PDF, there's a article that shows you how to fix why my labels did not print. So you fix the pop-up issue and then they should come right up on your screen.
Yep.
So let me get back to showing the right window. Okay, so that was for the box contents off. You can see that those shipments are ready for the carrier. And again, I can void the shipping label. Gives you a little deadline there. So we're communicating to Seller Central to void that. And it's updating right now. So while it's doing that, I can then void this one. And you'll notice that the shipment stays there because I haven't voided or deleted the shipment. Shipment is still showing in Seller Central, but I voided the shipping label itself, so that's why it changes.
All right, awesome.
So I could still, work on the shipment and purchase shipping if I wanted to, after I voided the other shipping label. So I'm going to cancel out that. So yeah, so that's your box contents with, or feeds without box contents.
Yeah. So that's pretty much, yeah, that's doing the feeds with box contents turned off. Now we're going to move on to feeds with, the next option is going to be for box contents feeds on. And we're going to give you another walkthrough of the process, but with the box contents feeds on. So, Jeff, you want to get that started?
There we go.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So, and just a note with the transmit boxes only button, one thing to note here, purchasing shipping labels is not available in bulk. So if you use this button when in the weight and dimensions page to continue with purchasing shipping labels, you'll have to click submit all and then navigate to work on shipment section for each shipment and then click transmit updated boxes. But we'll get more into the weeds of that in just a second. So turning on box content, we'd open up our batch again, and then we'd select, we would select on using feeds. So box content on using feeds.
Yeah,
and
I'll
then,
show that one real quick.
oh
So
yeah.
that's this option right here.
So right now you do the same thing. You assign all your items to boxes just like you would normally in InventoryLab. And but here's where the part changes. So transmitting your box content to Amazon. So after completing the box content information for your shipments, you can purchase shipping and complete them without ever leaving Stratify, and you can choose to complete them, or you can choose to complete them within Seller Central if you want to. So to complete the shipment in Stratify, you're going to click transmit boxes next to the shipment towards the top of the page. And then a window will appear, which you see on Jeff's screen right now, asking if you'd like to complete the shipment in Stratify or complete the shipment in Seller Central. Click complete shipment in Stratify for our process that we're doing. Now, the shipping method will automatically be set to SPD partner carrier, since that's the only method currently supported through the API. And when using this shipping method, just a note, the cost will be billed to your Amazon seller account as inbound transportation charge. For information on the Amazon carrier programs, there's that link again in your handout. So now we're going to enter the weight and dimensions for your boxes. And you can enter them for each box, again, individually, or you can enter them all at once by using the all boxes section at the top. And
so now you can see, the feeds processing. So we're just waiting for those feeds to process.
Yeah. So and you don't want to click the resend feeds, otherwise that's just going to restart the process all over again, and it's going to make your process, it's going to take even longer. So don't click, it looks intuitive to click the resend feeds button, but don't actually click it, because the feeds processing button is grayed out, telling you that it's currently processing. So like you saw Jeff hover over it and it gives you that warning message. So do not hit resend feeds again unless you've been waiting a very long time, which you shouldn't have to. So then you just wait.
Yeah, sometimes they're quicker than other times.
Yeah, sometimes it takes like 30 seconds, sometimes it takes a couple minutes. So it's all about on Amazon's side how they receive the feeds. So it's kind of like in a queue, and there you go. There you go. So now you click on the next step, which is estimate charges. You see the green success box. No need to resend your feeds again. And then there are your estimated charges where you can either accept them or decline them. I'm just going to accept them. And the same message again, you have 24 hours to avoid the shipping label charges. And there is the shipping label.
So you're not seeing it probably, but it did print, it did download, and it did come up in a separate window. So that did, once I created that issue, which if you go right here, barcode labels or shipping labels aren't opening, that will show you an article on how to fix that. And that is because of the pop-up window blocker. So, but those printed automatically that time, no issues. So
Yep.
good to go.
Yep. So then, do we want to go over completing the shipment in Seller Central, or are we just gonna are we just gonna not go over that? Because
We could, yeah.
Okay.
So let's do that.
Yeah, the other way to do it. So going back to the how do you want to complete your shipment? I don't know how fast you could. Oh, you already have it up. Complete shipment in Seller Central. You can select that, and then enter your weight and dimensions again. Submit all. And if you're not ready to enter the weight and dimensions yet, or your shipment contains hazmat items, that's another note that you should take. You cannot provide box weight and dimensions for hazmat items, shipments with hazmat items. So you can click skip this step to finish sending your box content information, or you can edit your box content information later in Stratify to include them or enter them directly in Seller Central. So you can hit skip this step.
Yeah, I just actually submitted.
Okay.
So, and then you can see that the box contents for the second one were submitted. And you note that one is being done in Seller Central because it's not green. This one we printed the labels for is ready to go. So if you notice that, that means you'd have to go to Seller Central, and we can go there.
And now you'll see here too, even for our shipments that say it will say ready for carrier in InventoryLab and Stratify. But until it gets picked up by and checked in by the carrier, it's going to show work on shipment in Seller Central. And that's because the shipment has not been converted to send to Amazon. So it's going to still say work on shipment. And once that happens, here's our new shipment. Here's our shipment that we want to finish in Seller Central. So we're going to click on work on shipment, and then we convert to send to Amazon. It's going to ask you if you're sure. How sure are you, Jeff?
I'm pretty sure. Wasn't that supposed to go away like months ago? I think it was. Amazon.
It was. It sure was. So this is what would happen if you just decide to do your finish your shipment within Seller Central. So there you go. It's ready to go. You can just confirm box contents are entered. So yeah, that's how to provide. That's how to provide box contents using feeds, and whether or not you want to finish it in Stratify or if you want to finish it in Seller Central. So you have those options. Now, finally, our final option is 2D barcodes. 2D barcodes are here, everybody. They're here, and they're loud, and they're ready to stay. So here's another walkthrough using the batch labeled box content 2D barcodes. So when you open up your new batch, it's going to say, again, if you're going to want to select box content with 2D barcodes. So a few things to note: you do not have to have 2D barcodes enabled. You do have to have 2D barcodes enabled in Seller Central for this. So before you start using 2D barcodes, you want to make sure that you go over to Seller Central and set that up. We do have an article that's included in the handout that we included. So that will have all of that handy information in there with the links on how to turn on 2D barcodes in Seller Central. And then
it's like pretty simple though. Since I'm here, I'll go ahead and show it, but you just click on the gear icon and then go to fulfillment. And once you're on this page, just set your inbound settings. Just make sure it's enabled there. If it says disabled, just click here on edit and then make sure to click on enable and then click update. So pretty simple.
Yeah. So once that's done, Hold on just a second.
And again, those links are all here, especially how to, how to turn it on in my Seller Central account. That'll be in the 2D barcodes article right at the top.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, so we have created your shipments, we've processed, we've entered in our box contents, and now we want to do our, sorry, I'm scrolling a lot.
Oh, that's all right. We're live.
We're live. So after you complete your box content information for your shipments, you can purchase shipping and complete them without ever leaving Stratify, or if you really want to, you can choose to complete them in Seller Central. So completing the shipment in Stratify, to complete the shipment in Stratify, you want to click Print 2D Barcodes next to the shipment towards the top of the page. And then that pops up and a window will appear asking if you'd like to complete the shipment in Stratify or in Seller Central. Click Complete Shipment in Stratify. Now, the shipping method will automatically be set to SPD, partner carrier, again, since that's the only method currently supported through the API. And then next, enter the weight and dimensions for your boxes. And as before, you can either, we only have one box for this one, so.
Yeah. And also you'll note that we're not waiting for feeds because we're using 2D barcodes. So we don't have to do that.
Yeah, we're not waiting for feeds for this one. So then you're going to want to click Estimate Charges to proceed. And then the estimated charges window will appear and display the carrier information, number of boxes, total shipment weight, estimated shipping costs, and the ship from address. So if everything looks good, you're going to want to click Accept Charges to proceed. And you will be asked to confirm if you'd like to proceed with the shipping. Once done, you will not be able to make changes to the shipment without voiding the charges. And again, charges can be voided within 24 hours of a purchase. So you're going to want to click yes. And the cost will be billed to your Amazon seller account as an inbound transportation charge.
So the labels did download again. So the shipping labels, there'll be 2 for each box. You have your FBA label that goes on. That's for the fulfillment center. And then you have the UPS label. But if you use 2D, you're also going to have a third label to put on, and that's what this is. It'll just open in a tab. And then you'll print using your browser's printer. And this will have all of your box content information. So this is going to be what they scan once it goes to the fulfillment center. So here you just click on the print labels. And I don't have a thermal label hooked up here. I could use another type of printer I have, but that's what I do. If I had a thermal label printer, that's what I'd use. And this only has one label, but if it had more, there'd be a series here. So just add that. So
yeah,
fairly straightforward. Once you clear some of the things that we've shown that can happen, like the pop-ups blocked, how do you fix that? It's fairly simple. Same with if you've converted a shipment, just go back, redo it.
Yeah, so it's pretty straightforward. The benefits of this outweigh, doing it the other way, in my opinion, because it gets checked into the fulfillment center much faster. So your listings will be active much more quickly than they would if you do it the old-fashioned way. So
especially if you have a large shipment. Yeah. If you have a large shipment, all you have to do is scan those codes, and that's that.
Yeah. So those are walkthroughs of the three different ways that you can do either 2D barcodes, or you can purchase your shipping through InventoryLab. And another thing about the 2D barcodes, just like with option 2, the status in Seller Central will still be working even after you completed the process in InventoryLab. And if it shows ready for carrier, then nothing needs to be done in Seller Central. So as long as it says ready for carrier in InventoryLab and Stratify, then nothing will need to be done in Seller Central. And also, like option 2, Amazon will update the status to shipped once it has been scanned from the carrier, and then it will update in InventoryLab as well. So it's pretty straightforward, gets rid of a lot of steps, and you can do it all within one platform, which is pretty cool. And there's a link to download the PDF document with links, and that has all the that'll answer every question that you have about 2D barcodes or purchasing shipping through Stratify.
All right. I think we're going to move on to frequently asked questions now, but I just wanted to just make a couple of comments before we get too deep into that. Number one, someone had asked, is this going to be recorded so you can watch it later? Yes. Just like all of our webinars, you can access it through our Facebook page, through our YouTube channel, or you can access webinars directly through your InventoryLab account. Because we're throwing a lot of information at you. This is new, and we don't expect everybody to be sitting there taking all the notes, while they're watching it today. So you can go
They'll
back.
also get a link emailed to them, a replay link through StreamYard.
Yes, exactly.
So you can do that too.
And definitely download that PDF document because, like Andrea mentioned, it has all the links that you're going to need for the support articles and more in-depth information. Now, as far as the frequently asked questions, we just want to make sure that we're covering all the basics on this. We see all your questions in the comments. It's awesome that you guys are so engaged and interested, and we really appreciate your patience. We're trying to answer them in real time, but we're also going to have an open Q&A session as soon as I'm done getting through these FAQs. So just bear with us. We're going to try to answer all the questions if we can, and if not, as many as possible, okay? So again, if your question isn't included in the FAQs I'm going to go over, don't worry. Continue to put your questions in the comment section, and hopefully we can get to all of them. All right. So the first frequently asked question is, does this bypass the boxes out of order issue in Seller Central? And the short answer is yes. If you use 2D barcodes and complete the shipment workflow inside Stratify, this will bypass the issue completely. So it's like a workaround. Using the feeds, the issue can still happen until Amazon fixes the issue on their end. So just to reiterate, this is not an InventoryLab issue. It is on Amazon's end. That's the whole point of using the 2D barcode, so you can work around that. And whether Amazon will fix that is anybody's guess. Number 2, if 2D is not enabled in Seller Central, at what point does an error appear? So an error about 2D barcodes not being on happens at the point where you create your shipment. So you just enable that in Seller Central and then just attempt to create your shipment again. Question number 3. If you choose to provide weight and dimensions in Seller Central, do you have to also add in expiration dates? And at what step in Seller Central? So yes, you are going to have to add in expiration dates in step 1. If you use 2D, but you create your shipments in Seller Central, you're going to have to add in expiration dates there. And again, if you want additional information, a little more in depth, make sure you download the PDF and you can access all the help articles. These are just, like I said, these are just kind of quick overviews. So even if you have a question that kind of piggybacks on one of these FAQs, go ahead and throw that in the comments. Question number 4. When Amazon says it's up to 100 ASINs per box, why do we, InventoryLab, limit it to 40? So the limit is roughly 100, but it all depends on the total number of characters in the information that Amazon requires for each ASIN. So for example, having 100 ASINs could go over the character limit, and that's why we limit it to the 40 ASINs, so you're not exceeding the character limit. Question number 5. Do I have to void shipping charges in Seller Central, or can I do it through InventoryLab? You absolutely can void them using the menu in the working shipments area. And that is one of the support articles that we've included in the PDF, how to void shipping label charges in Stratify. So make sure, again, that you download that PDF. Question number 6. How do I get my shipping label if it doesn't pop up? So the shipping labels are going to be in your downloads folder, or as long as the shipment is in the working shipment window, you can use the print label option with the shipment menu in that window. Question number 7. Does this include the 2D barcode when looking at the PDF of the shipping labels? No, this is just the shipping labels, 2 of them, one for partnered carrier and one for the FC to scan when it arrives to check in the shipment. The 2D barcode will open up in a new tab so you can print them and affix them to each box. So you're going to end up with 3 labels to put on the box if you use 3D barcodes. And that was something that Jeff just pointed out, that extra shipping label that you're going to have to put on the box. Question number 8. My 2D barcodes didn't open in a new tab. How do I fix this? So you want to make sure that your batch is set to use 2D barcodes. If it isn't, you're not going to get a 2D barcode. So if you did choose 2D barcodes for the batch and you don't have the 2D barcodes open in a tab, again, your browser may be blocking the pop-up. So you want to make sure that you fix that. And again, there is a link in the PDF that shows you an article on how to fix that. And basically, it's just called My 2D Barcode Labels or Shipping Labels Aren't Opening. Question number 9. How do I reprint my shipping labels and 2D barcodes? So you're going to want to navigate to the list and then go to the list and prep page in Stratify. And then under working shipments, you're going to click the 3 horizontal lines, what we call the little hamburger, to the right of the shipment and select print labels. The 2D barcode labels will open in a new tab to be printed using your browser's printing functions. And then the shipping labels are automatically going to download as a PDF to your computer's downloads folder. And then there's another article included in our PDF, box content using 2D barcodes, how to reprint 2D barcodes labels. Question number 10. How do I update my 2D barcodes if I edit my shipments? So if you've edited your box content information, you'll need to print updated 2D barcode labels for your boxes. So from the list and prep page, you want to locate your shipment that you're working on in the working shipments area. Click that little hamburger, the 3 horizontal lines next to it, and select work on shipment. And then on the box contents page, you're going to click print updated 2D barcodes. And then you can go through the box weight and dimensions to continue in Stratify, or you can go to Seller Central for your shipping labels and 2D barcodes. Of course, we suggest, staying within Stratify for the most seamless process. You saw your different options as we were walking through those. And again, there's an article. So pretty much everything we're going over today has an article associated with it. And this article is box content using 2D barcodes, how to print updated 2D barcode labels. I mean, all of the names of these articles are pretty intuitive. So, I mean, they're almost verbatim as far as what the actual question is. Question number 11, how many shipping labels are required? 2, if you use feeds, 3, if you use 2D barcodes. So the FBA label is still required to check in your shipment. And then the 2D barcode provides the box content information. And finally, question number 12, how do I know which shipments I've purchased shipping for? So the shipments will turn green automatically once you confirm shipping for them and display ready for carrier in the shipment area. Bottom line, best performance, stay within Stratify for the entire process. That way you can do that workaround and avoid errors and issues in Seller Central. And that's it for our FAQs. Again, if we have a question I didn't answer, or if you want to piggyback on that, continue posting in the comments.
One thing I should update is I just want to demo where that print updated 2D barcodes is. I didn't have the shipment voided in time while you were talking about it, but you would just click here. No, that was me. My internet's real slow tonight. So you just click here, go work on shipment, and then you can see it right here to print an updated one. So
woo woo.
That's that.
Woo woo.
Yee.
All right. So at this point, do we want to just open it up and start grabbing some questions that we haven't answered?
Yeah, let's do it here. All
right, great.
Show this first one here. Will we still receive the same discounted Amazon shipping rate? It's from Sadra Greist. Sorry if I mispronounced that. So yeah, my understanding is yes, it will be the same discounted shipping rate. I know that for a long time, that's one of the reasons why we didn't provide shipping. But then in the new API, we were able to get that. Grace in the comments maybe can correct me if I'm wrong on that. But that was my understanding. And then with this seller API we now use, we're able to get that information. So it's pretty awesome for that. Another one from Christopher Kelly. I know using the previous way of sending it to Amazon, it would bounce back as an error if an expiration date was not put in. With everything being done in Stratify now, is there now a pop-up or prompt if we miss an expiration date?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that we're working on a way to show that as you're listing. I think we're finding more and more about the seller API. But currently, I mean, you're still going to get that error, but it's fairly easy to update it. You can just click here on the item if you don't have one and you're supposed to, and just add that. And then, of course, you'd have to print updated 2D barcodes if you did that.
Yeah, so actually, right now you would not get an error with the 2D barcodes for expiration dates missing, and you wouldn't get a warning before sending the feeds. You'll get an error for the feed,
Oh, the box
however.
feed. Yeah, box hunter
Yeah,
feeds.
yeah. So for the actual feed, but we're looking into adding that. So just be good about your expiration dates. I know it's a headache, but better safe than sorry. All right, any other questions?
A couple of people are mentioning about the multiple warehouses. And Meg did address this in the comments. But for anyone wondering, as far as whether you'll have any control over where your stuff gets sent, I mean, no, unfortunately. InventoryLab, as she said, doesn't have any control over where your items are sent. So even with this new workflow, it's still possible to have your batch sent to multiple fulfillment centers. And unfortunately, that's just not anything that we can change right now.
Okay, Steve Swanson, possible to send both feeds and print 2D for each shipment? During my 2D research today, I came across an article that is suggesting the contents feed we've been using for many years actually allows Amazon to predetermine upcoming FC transfers. I'm not sure on that part, but I know that the batch settings control whether you're using feeds or whether you're using 2D barcodes. So you can't use both for one batch. You can split up like we showed doing a shipment in InventoryLab and then doing one in Seller Central, but that's not optimum use. You should probably do it all on Seller or InventoryLab to get the best experience. But I'm not familiar with that or hearing anything about being able to predetermine FC transfers. Have you heard anything?
I haven't, no.
Grace or Meg in the chat? Not sure if that's something you've heard or maybe read in your research, Grace. I don't know. That one's a new one to me, but doesn't mean it's not correct. Maybe they can. They just haven't made that public to us in the seller stuff, seller API.
Yeah, it looks like no. We haven't heard anything about that.
I mean, if you get the article and want to send us a link to support, I'd be glad to look into that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, support at InventoryLab.com.
Okay,
any
other questions? Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking to see because I know some of them have been answered in real time. So
yeah. If you have any remaining questions, make sure you post them in the chat.
I see Melissa. Outside or inside? Yeah, they go on the outside of the box. I wasn't sure if that had been answered yet. But yeah, just like your other two labels for the shipping, the 2D goes on the outside. Steve. Okay. Oh, There we go.
Did you find that first one? There we go.
Yeah. It says that in the article about 2D barcodes from Amazon. It does say more processing times, but they're able to check things in quicker with the barcodes from what I read in that article. Let's see if I can find it here. Yeah, it says if you manage high volume operations, 2D barcodes will scale to larger shipments more easily. Granted, it's not in their system yet until they scan it, but if you're using larger shipments, from what we've been told, and like this says it's more efficient on their end.
Yeah. Because that 2D barcode contains a lot of information.
And it also provides, like you said, it does say that it may cause delays in receiving your shipment. So conflicting info there.
Yeah, it looks like they're saying both. A contradiction by Amazon.
I'm shocked. When I was looking into this, I looked into the forum. There were several forum posts about 2D barcodes. And I was noticing a trend that said that they were noticing their items got checked in. Maybe that's, it's not pure data from Amazon, but seems to be that people that use 2D barcodes are having pretty good luck with it. The big issue, though, that of course it solves is the misnumbering of boxes for your box labels in Seller Central. So it's going to save you time on our end, at least.
Mm-hmm. It looks like we have some other questions too.
Oh, okay.
So. Unless you have more to add.
No, nope.
Okay. Let's see. Will 3 barcodes all open at once in the same window, and will we be able to print using the Dymo 4XL?
You'll have your shipping labels in one window that you'll print from, and then the 2D barcodes will print in a tab in your browser. But all of your 2D barcodes will be in the same tab. So there'll just be a list of them, if that's what you mean. Your shipping labels, they'll all be on one page as well. So you just print all of those in order, in sequence.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure you can print them using your Dymo if you use a 4x6.
4XL, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, if you use the 4x6 labels.
Shipping labels, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm going to have to look this one up. Is there a certain order they want the labels in? So let me look at that article. I know you should have. They have a certain placement for the shipping labels on the box, but let's see. They don't have everything in one article, of course, but well, they do say the shipping ID labels, you want those no closer than 1.5 inches from the edge of the box. Don't cover the labels with tape, clear tape even. that affects the scan. Your UPS label, like usually you put the ship or the fulfillment center label, the FBA label, like in the upper left corner, then the UPS label in the center. I'm looking through the 2D article now to see if there's a proper placement for that. That's a good question on where the label should go. I'll keep looking if you want to switch to another question, and then everybody's not waiting around for me. Research.
Angela has a question. I use another software for 2D barcodes, and the 2D as well as the box label can print on one label. There's also the option of having the FN SKU within the same label pack each box as well. Will this be provided down the road?
So the FN SKU label is put on the outside of the box? Is that what I'm understanding, Angela? Oh, for LTL. Okay.
Yeah.
So since we can't do LTL shipments right now, it's only through for SPD shipments. We'll have to look into that, but most likely, I can't speak on behalf of the company, but most likely it will be provided down the road once we look into LTL shipments and providing them. So yeah, it's a little different for pallets, we understand. So we want to make sure we do it right when we get it done. So
yeah, and as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, phase 3 is going to involve the release of the shipment completion for LTL using both the partnered and the non-partnered carriers, and that's expected mid to late Q3.
So Brad wants to know, so the shipment in Seller Central will show working until the carrier checks the scans the shipment, then it will turn to track shipment within Seller Central. Yes, that is correct. As soon as the carrier scans the shipment, everything will update. The shipment will be removed from InventoryLab. Well, not removed, but it won't be under your working shipments anymore. And then your shipment will be updated in Seller Central as well. So then you'll be able to track it with the tracking information.
And any of the articles I found, it didn't say you had to place it in a certain spot. I would imagine maybe, well, I don't want to say put it anywhere because they've got to be able to find it. I would think you could put it on the same side as the FBA and shipping, maybe in the opposite corner, upper corner.
Yeah, Steve
I'm not seeing a
mentioned
requirement, but
all labels should
okay.
be on the same side, just not on the seam.
Okay. All right, so that answers that. Yeah, it should just go on a spot on the same side where you put your shipping and FBA label then.
Yeah.
All right, and Sadra had another question. Will it show up in the inventory evaluation report prior to being scanned?
Well, when you create the batch, you send the batch feeds. That's in the system, our system, or so it should show up on your inventory evaluation as its status changes, like it'll be on inbound. If you mean prior to it being scanned in the fulfillment center, it'll show as inbound.
Yeah, it will show up once Amazon registers it as inbound. So once it gets scanned, then it will be updated on the inventory evaluation report as inbound.
Yeah, then once they scan it in the fulfillment center, then it'll change status to in your inventory. So you'll see it as inbound first, but active after, if that's the scanning you mean.
Yeah, any other questions from the audience? We're here to answer them.
Absolutely. And don't forget, if you haven't already downloaded that PDF that has all the links to the hub articles, make sure you do that. It's got a lot of information. And again, you can also watch the broadcast again to try to catch any, information, explanations, or walkthroughs that you might have missed the first time around.
Yeah, we went through a lot, so we
did.
completely understand if you have to,
Yeah, it can be
if you have
overwhelming.
to view this again. It's very overwhelming.
Yeah.
So
Thank you,
all right.
Sadra. That's good to
Yeah,
hear.
thank you,
That's good
Sadra.
to know.
We try to be helpful.
We do.
We try.
You've had some really great questions tonight too
We did.
that we've
Yeah,
had to
again,
work for, and we appreciate your input as having some of the answers.
very
Such as
much.
Steve with the labels.
It's great
It's
to
not
see
easy to find.
everybody's engaged.
Yeah, it's not easy to find stuff on Amazon or in Seller Central on the fly. So
Yeah.
All right. If we don't have any other questions, I think we are set to sign off. What do you all think?
All right.
yeah, I think so.
Great. Oh,
Thanks
one
for joining
last
us.
comment though from
Oh.
Richie.
Oops. Yeah.
Let's see. It says it works great. Oh, I had it and hold on. It works great. I shipped using the new process yesterday. Great.
That's awesome.
Fantastic.
We're always looking for feedback.
Absolutely. We do
Yeah.
have one quick question before we go. Steve had another question. On another subject, is there any way IL splits shipments once submitted, but if created in Seller Central, it doesn't split?
What do you mean by that exactly? Like,
I think it means like if you create an InventoryLab, we get split shipments. Amazon says some go here, some go there, so multiple FCs. But if you create it all in Seller Central, it doesn't split up into different FCs. We don't know that that's the case. Amazon doesn't say that in any of the documentation. They should be splitting it up just like they would in Seller Central. That's not to say that happens at times in Seller Central. It's hard. I mean, Amazon sends stuff where they want it to go. When we send them the request, they create the shipping plan in Seller Central and send it to us. So that's where Amazon tells us to go, but we don't have any facts that they split it differently if you do it all in Seller Central, because it's all about timing, especially in like Q4. The feeds there's so many feeds coming in. You could submit the feeds for a batch and then decline that shipping plan and come back and then get a totally different split. We've seen that happen many times. So it's probably about timing if that's happening. Yeah, the API feed's supposed to produce the same results.
Yeah.
Yeah, Meg makes a good point. Amazon doesn't use their own API, so it's possible through the API it could be different at times, like you're mentioning, Steve. But since they don't use their own API, they, you can see that in Seller Central when things get updated, like their inventory and that sort of thing. We can only do it in certain time periods, whereas Amazon updates immediately.
Right.
All right. Again, if you guys have any other questions or you need more information, check out the PDF, check out our help articles. You can contact support at inventorylab.com. Thank you guys again. Great comment from Anthony. Going to try this one shipping tomorrow. Thanks, Team IL. Y'all continue to get better. Thank you so much, Anthony.
Thank you.
Yeah, we like to think so. That's
yeah. And like we said, we know it's a lot of information, so we appreciate your patience. And again, this is new for everyone. So, don't be shy about continuing to ask questions, reaching out to support, and just taking advantage of all those great articles that we have.
I'd also suggest, send in your suggestions as you use this and you see something that might work better. send an email to support with a suggestion on that.
Definitely. Yeah.
Because we always forward those to developers. That's how we get a lot of our, enhancements and things like that. Whatever is best for the customer, we want to make sure you have that capability. So
Exactly.
do that.
Yep. We take your feedback very seriously. So
Thanks,
keep
Steve.
coming.
Appreciate that.
All right. Well, it was
All
so
right.
awesome that we could all be together for this big update again.
Yeah. Got the band back together.
Get the band back together. All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. Appreciate all your comments, all your questions. And like we said, keep sending in feedback as you start to work through this.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't be a stranger.
Definitely don't be a stranger.
All right. Have a great night, everybody.
All right. Have a great
Bye,
night.
everyone.
Bye.
See ya.